In this video, I will be looking at the Apax minerals and let you know my thoughts about them. So Apax Lab, as some of you might know, were founded a few years ago, I believe by Simon at Apax Lab. So Simon, one of the inventors of Apax Lab, he used to compete in coffee. So from what I understand, competitors would often reach out to him and ask him for, well, a little help to basically build their own water. And he would send them different minerals in sort of similar bottles like these, and use that obviously for competing in coffee. So the coffee I've used for this video is a natural anaerobic Nicaraguan coffee. It's actually a cup of excellence, winner of 2025, I believe, roasted by Edelhans. It's actually a beautiful coffee. It has notes of red berries, tamarind, and caramel. So it's a very sweet coffee, but there's also some florality in there as well. I've used the UFO dripper here. I've done 4 pours, 2 kettle pours, and 2 mellow drip pours at the end. Total brew time was around 2 minutes 30, and grind size was around 980 microns, so pretty coarse. So let's talk about the different profiles. We have Tonic here, which is great for if you want to highlight vibrancy, brightness, or juiciness in coffee. I find that this profile works great for most coffees, especially washed Kenyan coffees, Ethiopian coffees. Makes the coffee very juicy and bright, in my opinion. And then we have Jamm, which is kind of the opposite in a way of Tonic. This one is more if you want like a creamy texture, sweetness, like a rich, you want to add some richness to the coffee. I find that this one works very well with natural processed coffees. So I've used a bit more of this in my low mineral base here than Tonic. I've used some Tonic as well, but I've used a bit more of Jamm. And then we have Lilac. This is my favorite profile. This one is excellent for washed, think like geisha coffees, like floral coffees. It's brings out an elegant texture, very silky. If you feel that the cup, the florals are muted, you just add a drop or 2 of this, and yeah, you'll notice them immediately. And then we have the recent release from Apax. It's their Konflux. This one probably has become one of my favorite. I mean, of course, I use these on a daily basis, but this one, I really enjoy using it post-brew. So if I've brewed a cup, let's say my total brew time was a bit faster than what I had anticipated, I just add a drop or 2 of this one, and all of a sudden I get that kind of a coating mouthfeel, a linger in the coffee. It's like a longer linger, and just very harmonious and luscious. So this one, I would say, kind of affects the mouthfeel more than the flavor, at least in my opinion. But yeah, let's just try these. I haven't added anything here, just the low mineral base, as I mentioned, sitting at around 50 ppm. So I'll just try. So smelling the aroma, definitely getting a lot of that tamarind and red berries. Think like raspberries maybe, or yeah, more like raspberries, I would say. There's also some caramel-like sweetness in here. So it's a very nice coffee. I feel that as I took a first sip, I am getting some of that tamarind immediately and the red berries. And the finish is some of that caramel sweetness. Yeah, it's a very, like, I'd say like a kind of like a clean, natural in a way. But yeah, I do feel though that this one could be better. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start off by, as I'm tasting it, what do I feel that it's missing? Let's start there. So I am getting the berries and the tamarind, but I kind of feel that the mouthfeel is a bit thin. So let's just add a drop of Konflux in here. Let's see what it does. Okay. It's interesting. It sticks more in the finish now. Yeah, it's a longer finish. That is one of the things that I noticed immediately after adding a drop of this. In my second cup here, I'm probably gonna add let's add a drop of Jamm. So Jamm brings out richness, creaminess, perfect for natural anaerobic coffees. Give it a little stir. The red berries has almost, they taste a bit more like more jammy in a way, like think cooked red fruits or jam, like raspberry jam maybe. Yeah, more, I wouldn't necessarily say more creamy, but definitely sweeter in the second cup. And I'm not going to use Lilac because I don't feel that, I tried it for this coffee and I didn't really feel, since it doesn't have a lot of florals in here, I'm actually going to skip this one and just focus on Tonic for my third cup here. So let's add a drop of Tonic, this one here. Oh, I get more tamarind in here. So here's what I'm gonna do now. I'm actually gonna see what happens if I do if I mix these, because as I mentioned before, they all have a low mineral base of sitting around 50 ppm. Since I added the drop of each drop equals around 10 ppm, so I've added 30 ppm. Here. So what I've added here is basically a drop of Konflux, a drop of Tonic, and a drop of Jamm. So let's do a little and see how it is now. Yeah. I probably prefer it this way. I do feel though that just a drop more of this will make it sing a bit more or linger longer. And I love coffees that tend to linger and have like a coating mouthfeel. So I'm just gonna add one more drop of Konflux. I don't think it needs more Jamm. I don't think it needs more Tonic. I think it is very it's well structured. Yeah, it's beautiful. So yeah, as you guys saw, I basically added 2 drops of Konflux, a drop of Jamm and a drop of Tonic. The water was sitting at 50 ppm before, as I mentioned. I used a low mineral base, mainly consisting of Tonic, a little bit of Tonic, more Jamm and Konflux. And I've added 2 drops of Konflux, 1 drop of Tonic and 1 drop of Jamm. And the coffee, as I said, it's just, It's so nice. It's like drinking, kind of feels like I'm sipping like a tamarind juice or like a tamarind juice with, but also like it also has that sort of a cooked, jammy, raspberry kind of acidity and sweetness in there. It's like very mouth-watering in a way. I'm not gonna play with the minerals more now because I do feel that I have taken it where I kind of wanted it to go. One thing that I will recommend though is if you are grinding very coarse and your brew time is like around 2 minutes 30, think like 2:15 to 2:30-ish. I will kind of use more minerals if that's the brew time and the kind of grind size, mainly because those coffees can taste a bit like sour or slightly under-extracted in a way. So adding more minerals will kind of fix the cup, and those are the kind of cups that I often enjoy, like tea-like, very sweet, very lingering cups. But also has like a lot of definition that this one has, and structure. Like you can still taste the tamarind in here, you can taste the red fruits, and the caramel sweetness might not be as like, I guess if I would have used more jam, might have brought up more of that caramel-like texture. But I personally tend to prefer like red fruits or fruit-forward coffees more than coffees that have notes of caramel. So I'm kind of like very happy with it as it is. So there are a few ways you can use Apax Lab. What I usually do, if I am unsure about a coffee, I brew it with demineralized water or like fresh RO water sitting at like 6 ppm. And then what I do is I divide the cups kind of similar to what I did now, but I'll have like 3 cups and I'll add like a drop of Jamm, a drop of Tonic, and a drop of Lilac to see where to see kind of what it brings out of that coffee. But I usually look at the notes, I smell the aroma, I kind of get an idea. So that's usually where I start. And then right after I usually make a low mineral base, similar to what I did now. So if it is a natural anaerobic, I'll use more Jamm. But if it's a natural anaerobic that's also very like has a lot of red fruit notes or like citrus fruits, those kind of notes, I'll also use some tonic as well. So it kind of depends on what coffee it is, but a low mineral base, in my opinion, is usually the safest bet because you can always add minerals after, right? If you use too much minerals, if you go like full strength, there's always like a risk of you've added too much and it might be a bit dry in the finish. So I usually prefer to use like a low mineral base in that way, so I can just adjust it afterwards. But yeah, those are the ways that I use these profiles. You can also use them with other, like if you're using third wave water, 2 liters third wave water, if you divide that by like 6 liters or something like that, you get a low ppm at like 40 or something like that. You can always add some of this as well. Personally though, I do feel that the best results I'm getting is when I only use Apax minerals with Apax minerals basically. So I don't like to mix these with like lotus water or with third wave water because I just don't feel that the results are the same. I feel that once you start using these, it might be a bit like, oh, what do I do here? You know, how do I use them? Just get a gallon of distilled water, or like if you have like 0 water, or like very low ppm water, and just add a few post brew, because it doesn't really, in my opinion, I've done brews where I have used where I've brewed with demineralized water, and then the second brew has been with like a low ppm Apax water. that I've later on just adjusted. And even though I've matched them, like used the same amount of drops in both brews, it's very hard to tell them apart. So it's not that if you brew with demineralized water, that it's gonna taste not the same as if you would have mixed it before with these minerals, at least in my opinion. But of course it depends on what water you use, the quality of the tap water, where you're at. I have the luxury of having like very low ppm water here in Stockholm, sitting at around like, for most times, like 95 to like maybe 105 ppm. So I usually use like an RO system to bring it down to 6. And then from there I make a low mineral base. You can go on Apax Lab's website and check out their recipes. I love that they recently updated the recipes, and you can even choose strength now. Like if you're using 25% like a low mineral base, or like 50%, 75 up to like full strength. What that basically means is if you're using like full strength, they will give you recipes, and those recipes are basically, you don't have to add minerals post brew if you go full strength, for example. But I love that you can just adjust the strength and how many drops you want to use. It also helps you to save these for longer, right? I mean, if you use them at half strength, you're not using as many drops as you would if you would have gone for like full strength. So yeah, it depends on you and your taste buds and what you prefer. So I'll always recommend to like play around and see if you like it at 25, at 50, at 75 or 100. And you can adjust from there. I feel that they really do a great job at highlighting whatever you want to highlight in the coffee. So you can tweak it in that way. And that's why I often don't really mess around with grind size. I mainly keep it at where it is. And then I will just like fix it by adding more of whatever it is that I want to bring out of that coffee. But of course, if I'm using Sibarist fast filters, I might not grind that 980 microns. I might, grind a bit finer. And use less minerals, right? I mean, if I'm grinding finer, I'll use probably a bit less because the cup is a bit more extracted in that way, maybe a bit more heavy or rich. So I might use less minerals. But if it is like you just saw now, right? Like it is a bit under extracted, or, brew time was a bit faster than what I anticipated, I'll use a bit more of those minerals to kind of fix the cup. And that's what I like about these minerals in that way. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions, and thank you so much for watching, and please feel free to subscribe and like these videos. And let me know if you would like to see me do like a comparison with Apax and Lotus water or third wave water. I'd love to do that, but yeah, just give me your questions, and wish you all a good day.